Hey everyone, we are back with season three of the Journey to More. You know who I am. I am attorney Jamila Moore, the entrepreneur's attorney and business strategist, where I help you start, structure, and grow your businesses while legally protecting your bag, your brand, and your business. And today I am joined with my friend, Lou Collins. He is not only a thought leader, he is an entrepreneur, he is a pastor, and he is a coach of the Christian creative, helping them to unlock, unleash, and live out their gifts so that they can increase their influence, impact, and influence. I hope I did you justice, Lou. Did I do you justice?
That's good enough. I don't need no big hurrah. I'm good. I'm good.
So thank you for joining me today. Today we're really just talking about understanding and deploying our gifts.
Mm.
And one of the things that made me kind of think through this is so many people walk around in the world not really knowing like what their gifts are until they're much older in age. And so why not have the gift unlocker himself talk to us about this? So can you kind of tell us what is a gift?
Yeah, a gift is the best way I guess I can describe a gift is something that you possess that is that really you don't really know how you got it, right? It's one of those things where you hear this saying all the time when people say, "I don't remember when I was able to do that. I just know I've always been able to do it." You know, it's not necessarily a talent because a talent is something that you're capable of doing. It's not always something that you're supposed to be doing. Your gift
Ooh.
is wrapped up in your purpose. Whenever whatever your purpose is, your gift will be right there with it. It's almost like it's this sidekick. They're sidekicks to each other. So your gift is something that you have that is uniquely um, positioned in your traits in your character that helps you accomplish your purpose.
Okay, so in order for us to really be able to accomplish our purpose, we have to be able to know what our gifts are. And you already hit on this. You said a gift is different from a talent, but can you unpack that a little bit more?
Yeah. So when I think of gifting, um, how can I put it? I put it to you this way, right? So a talent is something that can be that you get that you're capable of doing, but that can also be learned to an extent. Um, a gifting is something that's innately in you. And so I like to use examples, and y'all got to forgive me if I move to the faith based piece a lot because I truly be what undergirds my coaching is faith, and a lot of times it's faith based principles.
Mhm.
So it's hard for me to speak about gifting, right, and not talk about the gifter. And I just because that's just it's in my DNA, right? So the Bible says, "Before I formed you in your mother's womb," in Jeremiah, "I knew you." All right, and then that's for us. Then he said, "I ordained you to be a prophet." That was for Jeremiah, right? So it before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you, right? And then what comes after that is whatever your gift is. He ordained Jeremiah to be a prophet. What did he ordain you to do? As part of that piece of this discovering who you are, because you can't you can't chase or develop your gift and not know who you are at the same time. You have to figure out what is your identity, what are you rooted in, what
Mhm.
is your standards, what are your foundations. Because I can be talented at being a basketball player, I may not be a gifted basketball player. Okay, make that make sense. I There's some athletes out there who have to work tooth and nail just to make it into the league. When there's other athletes out there, they just have to step on the court and they got to the place that they got to because of the specific giftings that they have. You can't teach 6'9", 260 pounds, and then super athletic. You can't teach that. You can't teach a jump shot. You can't teach dribbling. You can't teach how to pass, right? And you become good at that and talented at that, but you can't teach the other pieces. The other pieces are gifting that allows you to do things at a different level, i.e., LeBron James, right? If LeBron James was 6'3", he wouldn't be as I don't believe he'll be as uh renowned as who he is. It's his skill set positioned with his gifts of being 6'9", 260 pounds, and super athletic, that he's been able to play for 20 plus years at 38 years old, which is unheard of, right? So, that's when we talk about the difference between gifted and talent, having a gift and being talented, where it's something that's innately a part of your DNA.
It's innately a part of your DNA. And I know folks are already wondering, like, how can I connect with this gift right here? Right. You can find him on IG at I am Lou Collins, or you can subscribe to his YouTube channel, The Dreamers Huddle Podcast 880. Lou, you've already started breaking down some things for us. And one of the things that I am passionate about, and I wish I had known sooner, was my gifts. So like, how do we go about, like, what are one or two things that we can do early on to start to develop and understand what we're gifted in?
Yeah. So one thing that I usually, when I coach people in gifting, and one thing I have to do for myself is I had to do an assessment of kind of like my childhood in a way. So let me kind of explain that. One of the first questions I ask is, what are you just good at that you just can't explain, right? Because I don't believe we discover our gifts. I believe our gifts discover us. And like, because we didn't gift ourselves. It goes back to the going to the gifter. Our gifts discover us, right? So but once our gift discovers us, it's our job to CEO, to manage it, right? To manage it properly, right? So I always ask, what is it that you just do with ease? Or go back to your childhood. What was just something that you just did all the time that you were good at? People say, well, I was always just a talker. I just walked around talking. And some people say, well, I was just walking around singing. I don't even know how I learned to sing. I was just always a good singer. Just things like that. So part one is doing an assessment of really what are you just good at, right? What are you good at that you didn't have to learn how to do? For me, I was just gifted in track. I was just gifted in track. Maybe it was kind of running from dogs and stuff when I was a little kid or something like that. But by the time I got to junior high school, I was just faster than everybody else. And that was more of a physical attribute. But one thing that I was also good at, I was good at talking to people. Conversation was easy for me, right? So that's one thing in my childhood I could point to and say, I was good at that. Well, what am I good at now? People gravitate toward me, and I don't even try to get them to gravitate towards me. People find themselves in conversations with me, bringing up stuff, sharing things that they had no intention of sharing. It's like,
I'm a witness.
I didn't even call you for that, So I realized part of my gifting is being a what they call an extorter. I can pull out of you, right? So that was just something I was always good at. That was the first thing. What am I good at? And what comes easy to me. Second thing is just ask people, ask your parents, ask your siblings. What was I like as a child? What was I always doing? What were some positive things that you just saw in me as a kid? That was another thing that I did. And then I know this is cliche, but I prayed.
Nah, that ain't cliche.
Because me doing my own podcast, and I apologize, y'all, my lighting is off, and so I had some technical issues. But I understand that when people come to the podcast, they want the deep, rich stuff. Oh, give me something I can't get nowhere else. And it's like, sometimes it's like, I ain't got it for you, bro. I got you. I prayed. That's what I did, and it's through that prayer where God revealed it. I'm going to try not to be theological and get too deep here. But when you pray, God answers your prayers by opening opportunities and doors for you to use that gift that you don't even know that's the reason he's opening the door for. So if I have a gift of speaking and I'm asking God, what is my gift? I'm praying to him, what is my gift, God? Show me what my gift is. And I'm praying for that. and I have these doors opening. Oh, I want you to come speak here. I want you to speak in front of kids. I want you. Chances are your gifting is probably public speaking, right? Particularly if it meets all the other criteria. You always talk too much as a kid. You just eat talking becomes easy to you. You just talk, so it's kind of like a formula I give individuals. It's like, what do you do easy? Talk to some people and then pray about it. And then see how things begin to maneuver in your environment, in your world.
No, I think that's good. And it makes me think about, it's going to lead into my next question, but it makes me think about when I was sitting for the California bar exam. That exam was scarier for me because I didn't have my law school friends like I had in New York. I had my alarm going off on East Coast time. The hotel was a mess. Like anything that could go wrong was kind of going wrong. And so I'm sitting out on a bench out in Ontario by myself, eating a sandwich and some chips. And I sensed the Lord telling me, Jamila, you are not like everybody else. Your mind is a gift from God. And that stuck with me forever because, like you said, Jamila always getting straight A's. Jamila's always at the top of the class. Like, what did you hear what Jamila just said? Where'd she get that from?
Yeah.
And that was like what I'm now 30 years old, just now getting and understanding that my mind is a gift from God, and most people don't have the intellect that He's put down on the inside of me. And so have you had any moments or any encounters where you've discovered maybe some hidden gifts that weren't so apparent?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if I'm being honest, all of the gifts that I know I have came out of situations where they were hidden. And I wasn't trying to use them. It wasn't a situation where I knew I was gifted in that. It was a situation where almost always where there was another individual that God was using to pull stuff out of me, but what they were pulling out of me was my gifting, right? So that's why mentors and coaches are important, because they have the ability to pull things out of. In fact, you did it. You did it the first time we encountered in the program that we was in. You did it because I thought my niche was something, and it really was something else. And it was you prodding and picking at, in a very nice way, rather, I don't like to say, but she was prodding and picking apart every argument, everything I was saying. And I was like, it made me think, hold on, I'm really gifted in this area, So really, most of the time, when it came to me, my gifting came from other people kind of pulling it out of me. That which is a great segue to my answer, because your circle matters. The people you decide to give your ear to, the people you decide to give your time to, the people you decide to give your energy to needs to be individuals who either they can recognize it, or if they don't recognize it, have the ability to push you in ways to force that gift out, right? Because sometimes we're in circles where people force out our weaknesses, not our gifts, right? They expose our weaknesses. This is going back to the Bible. This is one reason why we know Moses was a great leader, but the problem Moses had is he allowed the people to expose his weakness, and it was that exposure of his weakness that's kept him out of the promised land. People may see all the good things of you, but when they're close to you, they also know your weaknesses. And if you're not careful, they'll not necessarily intentionally, but they'll force your weaknesses out of you at the wrong time, which also locks some doors for you, or can lock some doors for you.
Lock some doors for you, woo!
Right? So if I may be gifted in speaking, or gifted in extorting and hyping up a room, but people around me know I also have a quick temper. They may say something that triggers me, right? So now I bring out my gift in the negative way. So when I'm supposed to be hyping people up, I'm tearing people down. And if the wrong person sees that, now a door that would have been open is now closed. Because they didn't see the good part of the gift. They just saw the part that was exposed based on my weaknesses, right? So it's a lot that goes into, you know, having those hidden gifts and exposing those hidden gifts. But really, a lot of it comes into who are you surrounded by? What are you reading? What are you listening to? You know, what things can wake up your gift? How do you, because if you don't really know what, if you have any hidden gifts, you have to do things that have the proclivity to wake them up. So if you don't like reading, if you do a little bit of reading, it might wake up some gifts that you didn't know you even had, right? Those hidden gifts, those hidden things that are in the depth of who you are. So
Man, it's so much there that you said. That community piece, I want people to really tap into that, because like if you are not surrounded by the right community, it could take your gift higher or it could make your gift go lower.
right.
And we're all dependent upon each other for each other's gift to help us grow to the place that we're supposed to grow to. And another thing that I don't want this audience to miss is there is a level of self-awareness and self-reflectiveness that has to go along with you understanding you and developing and deploying your gifts.
Absolutely. And
let it out.
Because it also, you got to understand with what you just said, and even it goes to like the hidden gifts piece. Many people who are gifted, who have more than one gift or have a lot of gifts, they have to understand when to properly dispense them, right? Because, oh my goodness. So I love giving this analogy. I don't know how I came up with this analogy. I think just because I like to cook sometimes. So I said, when you are a very gifted person, you're gifted in a bunch of stuff. You're gifted in leadership, gifted in speaking, gifted in management, just gifted. And maybe you're even gifted in, specific talents, like you can sing also, and you can dance. You have to understand that your gifts operate like a seasoning or spice cabinet, right? So if you look in somebody's spice, they got salt, they got seasoning salt, Tony's, pepper, garlic, onion powder, garlic powder, barbecue sauce, all this different stuff, all these different spices, condiments, or whatever, right? But it amazes me that people don't properly use their gifts, how they use seasoning. Because if I'm making fish, I don't use everything in the cabinet. Right. If I'm making steak, I don't use everything. I take out specific spices for that dish, and I use those spices for that dish. So many people get in trouble with their gift is because they think they can use all their gifts for every project. And they find themselves and it never works out. And the example I love to use is I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but Kevin Hart. two individuals. This is two individuals. Now, Kevin Hart, if you can think of one, I'm here for it. This is the difference between somebody how a person works, who's very gifted, and somebody who's kind of like don't have that many gifts, but can work that one gift well, right? So Kevin Hart, give me one movie, show, or ever where he just killed a drama role. I'm talking about, man, it's like, oh, he did that. Drama, not comedy, drama. Every time I do this, the people are like,
arguably, the attorney in me is about to come out. Arguably, we can say the upside when he was taking care of the older man. Arguably,
right? Okay, that's one that you could think of. But where's his lane at?
Comedy.
Clearly. Even whatever you think about him as an actor, even because I know some people are like, well, he's not even that good as a comedy actor, whatever. He thrives in the comedy genre, right? So these are individuals who just need to work that gift. If they work it so well, it takes them to many heights, right? Extreme heights. They may have only one gift, but if they work it right, it takes them out of this world. Now, just suppose that Kevin Hart to, let's say, Jamie Foxx. Comedy, drama, rom-com, it don't matter what you put him in, he will body the role. Why? Because he has a seasoning cabinet. In his
Ooh.
TV cabinet, he's like, I look at this character. Okay, I need this, this, and this. Boom, close the cabinet, right? And he takes those three ingredients and works that character so good that he just bodies the role. This is how people who are gifted in many areas have to operate. You take what you need for that specific project, right? If he's doing stand-up, he pulls the seasonings out just for that thing. If he's doing a comedy movie, because even doing stand-up in a comedy movie is different. So something he has to put back, if he's doing a TV show, a sitcom, music, he has to, so that's the kind of that's what we're talking about here, and so many people who are gifted who have a lot of gifts get this wrong so many times because they think I'm gonna just use everything I'm good at for every project, and a lot of times those projects don't work out because you have to use certain specific things to really hone whatever that project is.
Listen,
I don't know if that makes sense, but I liked it.
It makes a lot of sense. And what I'm taking away from it is like you have to discern what gifts to deploy and when.
Yeah.
And if you want to be in a place to be able to be discerning, you want to be in prayer so that you can get the revelation of what should be used, when, where, and how. Man, that was deep because let's just be honest, because, and it's going to segue into the next question, which is something that I struggle with from time to time, is when you do have so many gifts and just being like, literally, like, I'm not gonna lie, going down the street a few months ago, I was like, God, you put all of this in me? Like, and I asked him, I said, who do you think I am? And it was like, Jamila Moore.
Yeah.
The woman I created you to be. And I was like, man, but until I just came to that understanding, there was a struggle in a few seasons with imposter syndrome. And so how would you coach someone who was struggling with imposter syndrome? Like, I can't be gifted in that. I don't look like that. I don't sound like that. I don't do that. That means I can't have that gift.
I will coach them the only way I know how, and that's using the narrative of Adam and when he fell and he hid from God. There was a question that God asked Adam when he told him, "Oh, I hid from him because I was naked." That question that God asked Adam was this: who told you you were naked? Who told you when who told you wasn't good enough? Who? And it's because Adam ate from a place he shouldn't have ate from. Where have you been eating your knowledge, your wisdom, your information from that you think shame or you don't think you belong at that table? Who told you were naked? I promise I'm not trying to preach, y'all. Then he said, did you not eat from the tree that I told you not to eat from? Are you not surrounding yourself with the right people that you should be surrounding yourself with? I've given you a blueprint on how to live. I've given you a blueprint on who to have around you. I've given you a blueprint on how to foster the right environment for you to thrive. But obviously, something happened in that shift where now the people that you're around or the things that you're reading or what you're watching, what you're allowing to feed you is not feeding you correctly. And now you're getting sick from imposter syndrome. And the only way it's like, it's one of the things where like, where did that come from? That's one, as a coach, that's one of the questions I always ask. And they said, well, I don't think I'm good enough to do that. I don't think I should write that. I don't think I'm good enough. I said, who told you that? Where did that come from? And almost always they can point to something. Well, I remember when I was a child, or I remember when this person said this to me. Almost always. So when it comes to imposter syndrome, and here's the hard part. Many times it's ourselves. It's ourselves. I saw a clip actually a few days ago, and somebody had asked a question. I can't remember whose page it was on. But somebody asked a question of something about self-esteem. And the person that was talking, she was like, can we be honest for a second? The person that was presenting, rather, she said, we don't really have a self-esteem issue. And then everybody kind of like looked at her kind of weird. She said, because according to the Bible, in Timothy 3, the Bible says people will be lovers of themselves. So it's not that you have a self-esteem issue. It's just that you're so worried about yourself so much that you took your eyes off God and took your eyes off the things of God, that now you think I have to be or act a certain way to be accepted by people. So you don't have a self-esteem issue. You have a pride issue.
Woo!
I was like, what? She said biblically now. I'm not saying for people who have like disorder. I'm talking about biblically. If you said, well, I have low self-esteem, you focused on yourself too much. I have imposter syndrome. You focus on yourself too much. Ooh. What are you good at? Because your gift doesn't have an imposter syndrome. Your gift is supposed to take you into places and spaces that's going to lead you and make you have impact and influence and get a little money while you're at it. So it's one of those things where you have to ask yourself, where did that come from? Who told you wasn't good enough? Who told you didn't belong at that table? Where did that limiting belief happen?
Listen. He's snatching edges, hairlines, everything today. Man, so I want to think about this. Why is it important for us to really focus on developing and deploying our gifts as people?
Yeah, I love this question because there's two parts to it, and one part is kind of the consensus, the general, what people think about, right? So why do we need to focus on deploying and developing and putting our gift out there? Well, the obvious answer is there's somebody who needs your gift, right? We love that answer. Yeah, there's somebody. We love there's somebody who needs what you have. Okay, cool. The part we don't like to deal with, or I'm saying we don't like to deal with, but I think we're afraid because we don't want to come off as being self-centered or focused on the bag too much. Well, your gift is supposed to give you influence, but also affluence. So why is it important for your gift? Somebody needs it, and you need it too, because it's going to bring you a bag. So, just think about it. Like if I have a gift, I'm good with my hands and my mind, and I'm drawn to medical things naturally and things of that nature. If I know that I could be gifted as a surgeon, it is my due diligence to at least explore medicine, right? You may not be it, but at least explore it. If you're just gifted with that, if you have that kind of mind, and you know that you love precision and you think and just things of that nature, right? But we also know if that's the route that you go down, that's going to bring you a bag. If you are, I like to say this because many times people have what I call misplaced gifts.
Ooh, talk about it.
Misplaced gifts, right? So they're at the, that's why I like to say they're in the right room, but they're not at the right table, right? So let's take singers or songwriters, right? So if I love to sing, maybe I'm a pretty good singer. So I'm singing, I'm putting music out there on Apple Music, Spotify, and everything, but it's just not hitting. The streams ain't going well, and things are just not working out. But whenever I write a song for somebody, it blows up. So you're so passionate about being a singer, you can't even recognize that your gifting is songwriting, right? And it's the songwriting that's going to bring you the bag. But here's the thing: oh my goodness. Here's how God is so good. I'm sorry, Jamil. I'm getting
no, you don't apologize.
This is how good God is sometimes, because He knows our heart's desires, our passions, the things we want to do, right? But He says, if you just do what I tell you first, if you just focus on being a songwriter, being such a good songwriter, right? I know you can sing. Be just so good of a songwriter that it blows you up to a place where everybody knows you. Then release your single. So now people know you for your songwriting. They're like, oh, she can sing too. Guess what? Now you're getting bags in two places. So God will open doors. Oh my goodness. Gift your realizing what your gift is can open up a world of opportunities for you. A world of opportunities for you. And when we have misplaced gifts, I call it the Jay-Z effect, right? The Jay-Z effect. Many people know Jay-Z got to start doing what? Mm-hmm. One people say rapping. No, selling drugs. Mm-hmm. Right? What does a drug dealer do? Well, a drug dealer manages, a drug dealer orchestrates, a drug dealer has a team, a drug dealer makes sure things are in order. Well, okay, what other professions do that as well? A CEO, manager of a Fortune 500 company. So many times, a lot of people, I used to do prison ministry, they're in jail because they were using their gift the wrong way. They're gifted in administration, they were just using it to sell drugs. Right? They're gifted with cars and can be mechanics, but they were using it to steal cars and things of that nature, right? So many times we're in the right room. We just got to sit at the right table, right? That's why I call misplaced gifts. This is so much. This last piece, I'm sorry. And everybody wants to be Jay-Z, but not a lot of people want to be Nipsey Hussle.
Break that down for us.
Y'all missed it. Jay-Z we know Jay-Z, multi-billionaire, world-renowned, he's a huge global brand, right? Nipsey Hussle focused so much on his community, building his community, putting money back in his community, doing his music independently, right? That even in his death, it was his community that took him around the world. Many people want to be Jay-Z, want to be the blow up guy, right? Mm-hmm. But nobody wants to be the community guy who focuses on your world, right? I want the big influence, the big impact. I want to be known all over the globe. When if you just focus on your area, your world, when it's time, it's those people that's going to take your brand to the world. So maybe if you focus on 5 people, those 5 people become the Jay-Z's, but they look back at you and say, no, he got me there. She got me there, right? But we're so focused on making our brand be Jay-Z that we miss that it's the community. It's our small community sometimes that takes us to the high places, right? So now we know that Nipsey was on his way there, but he died before he got there. But here's the thing. He didn't have to get there. His community took him there even in death, right? Mm-hmm. His brand, the marathon continues. I see that whenever somebody's pursuing something, I see that hashtag on everybody's stuff. The little flag, marathon. Who started that? Nipsey.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you dropping game. This the last question I'm gonna ask, and then you give your final thoughts, because I know I'm gonna have to go back and replay and let this really sit in my spirit, because I used to be a teacher, and I am really, 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 really concerned about kids for a number of different reasons. And so, what can parents do to kind of look and help their kids develop and identify their gifts?
Well, there's 2 things. The first one is obvious. You just learn the child's personality, what are they good at, where they naturally gravitate to, all that good stuff, right? The second thing is something that I think parents should stop doing so much.
Ooh, what did they stop?
And it's this. Parents should stop saying, and I hope no teachers jump on me. I promise you. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. We need to stop saying to our kids, you could be anything you want to be in this world if you put your mind to it. I know. Hold on. I probably lost some people. Because the fact of the matter is, that's not really true. That's because if I have 2 sons, and if they came to me, or if one of them came to me, either one of them came to me, it was like, hey, Dad, I want to be an NBA player. I mean, I love the sport. I want to be an NBA player. And my answer is, so you could be anything you want to be in the world if you put your mind to it, if you work hard at it. And he's excited going, well, yeah, I'm gonna be an NBA player. Okay, but what happens is around 16, 17-year-old, he plateaus at 5'3". He's 150 pounds soaking wet. He has no athletic bone in his body, and he just can't grasp the concept of he can't remember plays. He can't.
Yeah.
We're gonna have have to revisit that conversation, right? Because two things have happened. He now feels like he's a failure because he put his mind to it, right? I tried so hard to put his mind to it when really the reason he's not going to attain that goal has nothing to even do with him. Nothing to do with his mind, his motivation, or anything. And then the second thing, I have to backtrack, and now I look like a liar to somebody he looked up to, saying I can be anything you want. No, you knew that mom was only 5'1" and you only 5 whatever. You knew I wasn't gonna be like, you lied to me, right? Not me personally, but you lied to me. So that's what happens many times to some of our kids, and now they have to struggle when they become young adults to try to figure out, and they waste time trying to figure out, what am I even good at?
Yeah.
Because they waste the time, and we see it all the time. You waste time in college on a major that you probably should have been majoring in, right? You're not doing anything. The thing is, I run into so many young adults who don't even have a passion for what they're majoring in. They just know it makes them a lot of money, right? Like, I'm majoring in business. What do you want to do with that? I don't know. Maybe I'll be finance or something. You don't even know like what sector you want to work in the business field. No, I know it's a universal degree. I'll major in psychology. What do you want to do with that? I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe I'll go get my master's or whatever. Like, what? Like, no. What are you passionate about? What do you love to? What's easy to you, right? What can you use your gifts and maximize that? So here's how I say parents should change that conversation. Is if my son came to me and was like, I want to be a basketball player. I don't know how it's going to work out, but here's what I say. I say, son, you know what? That's great. I'm glad you had that aspiration, but you know what? You're gifted no matter what. You're gifted, and your gifts, if you hone them, if you figure out what they are, it's going to take you into very unique places. And if you hone your gift just the way that God wants you to hone them, it's going to take you into places and rooms that you would never imagine. Right. So here's what happens. If he fails at basketball, he knows, okay, that must not be my gift. Because that my dad told me that I'm gifted. Maybe basketball isn't it. Maybe I could be a coach. Because now I'm not focused on being a basketball player. I can be a coach. I can be a trainer. I can be a scout. I can be an agent. Right. So now you get them discovering, okay, if basketball doesn't work out, if singing doesn't work out, if dancing doesn't work out, okay, what is my gift? And they start asking those questions. So by the time they hit college, it's like, okay, I'm gonna try a few things, and whatever sticks, whatever works the best, and whatever I'm passionate about, I'm gonna roll with it. So,
man, Lou, you killed it. Coach Lou killed it. You know where to connect with him at on IG at I am Lou Collins, on YouTube, the Dreamers Huddle podcast. 880. Listen, I was going to ask him for a final thought, but he mic dropped with that last thought around kids, around young adults. And the mic dropper is, if you sit and you allow God to form you in your gifts, it will take you in unique places and unique spaces and put you in rooms that you could not have imagined. And so if you want to really live rather than exist, if you want to really maximize what God has put down in you, then you really got to go to him, the gifter.
Come on.
And allow him to develop you and him to deploy you in the area that he sees fit.
That's it.
Because it gives you the influence and it gives you the affluence.
Come on. Right?
These are words. I'm just reworking them.
Hey, it is what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, listen, I don't have any much more to say that. It's just, hey, you are gifted. Whoever's on, you're gifted, and you have to lean into that. First, you gotta lean into the fact that you're gifted. Some people don't even like, I don't have any. No, lean into the fact that you're gifted, and then begin to figure out what those gifts or that gift is, and get you a creative director of your gifts. Find a coach, mentor. So I throw that in there.
Listen, no, that's a good segue. If you are, looking for ways to deploy your gifts, you need to go to the gift dropper, the gift developer himself. I am Lou Collins. If you're looking to grow your entrepreneurial efforts, or you want to protect and secure the bag, you want to protect and secure the business and the brand, you need to head over to Iamandmore.com with 1O so that I can get you started on deploying your gifts in the right way and making sure that you get that bag as you secure that bag so that you can live and leave a legacy for not only your children, but your children's children. Thank you all for tuning in. It has been another great episode. We kicked off season 3 crazy. This is crazy.
Hey, you about to blow up. Let's go. Let's go. I love it.
All right, y'all. Take care.
Peace.